You've got some of the more easy to execute compositions right now. Nothing too fancy for the first game, as LNG are getting a little bit fancier, right? You've got the Aphelios, you've got the Ziggs, and you've got the Malphites.
It definitely feels like he's a much more pro skirmish jungler. When he becomes light, he's going to connect on the big Krug. He's going to smite it away, get to level 4, and he's looking to throw it down with Krako here. Full cast of spells from the Malphite, but I don't know. The sustain of this Xin Zhao, very worrying. Can either top it or get over here in time? Krako might have to kill the knockup. One more auto. Shun flashes away, finds first blood. And now it's Sheer's turn to chase him down. Does have flash, but on his nearby, he's going to flash and still deliver a dreaded return. And Sheer will find a kill back here for LNG.
These grubs with really no contest. BLG, I think, were posturing like they could fight for it. That's why they didn't immediately go onto the Dragon for a cross-map play. But now you don't really get anything. I think it's too late to start up the Drake because Krako is already on the move. And crucially, this Malphite has hit level 6, so it's a lot harder to push him around. Actually taken down to half. So now this just limits Missing's ability to kind of zone control these waves. Viper should have a bit of an easier time picking up these minions without sacrificing health to do so.
On is down ultimate, but still wants to scrap. There's the charm coming across. Viper goes transcendent, dashing after 1xN. He drops the Aphelios ultimate in, but Viper finds his first kill of his LPL campaign. 1xN cannot and will not find that trade. It's Viper on the board, finally for BLG, and Shun's like, hold on, feats of warfare, can't chase down Missing, who will escape to tell the tale.
The first kill of hopefully many Slayer. Viper also going to collect a plate as Missing. You are under the tower, but with no HP.
Why flash? Why flash? I feel like he's just dead there. Gives over the flash and the feat of warfare.
I guess the silver lining for LNG on the other side, you can see that Krako is onto the Dragon, so you will have the credit for both early game objectives. BLG may have gotten the first 3 kills, but...
And somehow it seems like everyone is going to limp out of that missing tons of ultimates and summoners.
And you could tell that Viper felt like he was in a cage there, but you just wanted, you could just feel he wanted to let loose, though LNG will exfiltrate the fights. Both teams expend a decent amount of resources for that, and BLG, because they were more grouped up together, because LNG were the first ones to blink, and frankly, I think it might have been a little bit of an overextension there from Krako.
Emperor's Divide to push a Rakan away from charming up anyone else. A lot of really high-level play coming out of that. We love Krako's discipline, even if he does go all out for Shun. Just nobody able to push those health bars over. And it's to BLG's gain, because that whole early objective control conversation we're having for LNG is now
with no minion wave. But this is exactly now what we were talking about. Bin is going to have his time in the sun on the side lane, so it'll be actually 2 turrets for BLG. They will really open up the map on this top side, and that'll play into them being able to control...
well, really 2 items across the board outside the support, so it really does feel like despite BLG's current gold lead, item-wise, it's not going to really show in this Octagon fight, and that makes for the most fun, because it's just about execution and maybe a little bit of luck. BLG going to force the issue. Octagon started up here by Shun, and Viper helping off to the side. They TP Bin in. Bulldog has joined the fray as well. YXL's coming in for a flank with Bin. They do not have Sheer. There is no teleport on this Zahen, so BLG have all of the ground to play with.
They
got
Krako!
Pick off Krako. What a Shuriman shuffle from YXL to pick up that one. The Redemption's going to save him from the Mega Inferno Bomb, but not from the Moonlight Vigil. Kill picked up for 1xN, but they get the Octagon, and now they can unleash Viper and Shun. They're going to chase down Missing. Shun not going to be able to find the end of the spear onto that kill. Sheer trying to go all out with the Zahen, but is going to force the topple onslaught out of Bin. May have more space to cook now that he's got that Seeker's arm guard. And we have another fight brewing. 3rd Drake of the game here. And it's LNG with the inside track. Bin has been playing security guard at the hottest nightclub you know right now, with how he's been able to zone some of these teams. But On's trying to break down the door, and they found the perfect pick onto Bulldog, who they took his flash off of him earlier on, cashing in on that investment, and LNG have no way to contest further around this Drake pit now.
I love how BLG keep forcing on that issue. Bulldog is such a clear target for them to go for, and they just rush him before he has any time to react. I think the go button as well for BLG to start out that chase into LDR. It's like, all right, I'll use this to deal with squishies and assassinate them. But then
Yep.
I'll also get this to deal with the tanks. What are they going to do now?
I got something for you, buddy Bin.
Book. So we are going to be, I think, waiting a little bit until one of those picks comes
sure
through.
about
Unless LNG just decide to YOLO it and start the Baron anyway.
Start it. They've got it almost done
really
here for
low.
1xN. Kiting out on pretty well. Moonlight Vigil is going to go wide, though. Missing gets the charm. The Baron does
Viper's
reset.
not here.
And YXL has the pick onto Sheer. Bin gets the kill onto Missing. Viper finally showing up, but they got all the heavy lifting done without Viper because it's just Bin and his giant health bar causing a huge conundrum for LNG. Giga Bin might be back, at least by Demacia Cup standards. 4 kills and Baron to BLG.
Yeah, and Bin is unkillable in the fight. I mean, Viper comes in, but he's sinking his fangs into an already dead corpse as all of LNG have been taken out. BLG win out in that fight. The Baron will be their reward.
Then 80 carries for next split, right?
It's the mid laners, in my opinion. I actually think mid lane is the most buffed in Season 16. Those empowered boots are no joke.
Wow, that's not a popular opinion there, Quack. So we'll have time to discuss it a bit later. Let's take in, well, a defensive Grim Deliverance from Sheer. That's never good. And the BLG Baron power play stacking up more gold than you can count.
Yeah, now BLG are looking to sunset this game. They've got a pretty significant gold lead at this point. All of their champions are accelerated. They've got the Baron and plenty of tanky members to be able to withstand the damage the turret puts out as Krako and Shun are just having a bit of a dance party here. Let's see if On decides to join in. Come on,
Somebody
On.
orbital cannon that. Yes! Oh, I did hit On. All right. Krako, I was like, he broke up the BM. He has to die, but BLG are too far ahead. It's been running right at. How does he hit 1xN again? He hits 1xN again, bro. And there goes the game, exploding around the giant scion that is Giga Bin. We talked all about Shun coming back in, Viper's debut for BLG, but your Game 1 MVP for Bilibili Gaming is going to be that giant tank of a man known as Bin on the top side. And here comes the final march. Bulldog doesn't even have mana near his own Nexus. It's time to wipe down the last 2 members of LNG. Down goes Sheer, down goes Bulldog, and down goes LNG in Game 1.
And a lot of people, you know, anticipating that BLG would be this explosive team, that they would look for every possible opportunity, that they would be this micro-centric group of 5. It is the job of Shun to be that early game agency character and really build that bridge for the late game threats drafted for the rest of the BLG lanes to take over when the time comes.
Scrubs fallen. This is a huge win for LNG. That side lane advantage for BLG has been effectively neutered.
Yeah. They're not even going to be able to. They actually only go for the 2, so maybe BLG will be able to pick up the 1 later down the line. I'm actually really surprised they don't just take the full encampment, because you have to realize that, yeah, the top side of BLG has super relevant side lane potential that could, you know, pull focus away. As long as it's not, you know, a Syndra within kill threat, you can, you know, at least for the one time, afford to lose some HP because you have teleport to just get back to the lane. Teleport is a super valuable summoner spell, or Flash is a super valuable rather.
Krako wants his free grub by this point. He's waited long enough, and that will give Void Mites over to LNG as well. So
Yeah.
as much as we talked about it slowing down the BLG win con of this side lane threat, now you know you win a fight.
I definitely think that the grub's going to help make these you know, potentially 1-team fights by LNG even worse for BLG. Is On.
All right, back to On antics early on here. Oh, the Flash doesn't even get away from the Tempered Fate. I don't think Viper can save him. Beautiful stun from Missing into the Scatter of the Weak. All the Syndra damage comes across. Takes a long while to end up killing off Missing, and now Viper surrounded 1 versus 4, stunned up against the wall. Missing getting it done on this Bard, and LNG start the kill count out with 2.
Of LNG, but now that they get those kills onto the bot laner, look at what they're doing. They're using those grubs. This is what we talked about, and YXL is here, but he immediately dips.
And now they're having to try and force a dive onto a Cassante. He goes all out to pull Bin back under turret aggro. He's going to get rid of the wave as well.
It really is that early game bridge. And they still can build on it, though. LNG, like we said, just have a little bit more power indexed into them. And now I like this dive coming through.
Yeah, this is not a tanky Cassante, and they don't even need to go for the dive. They're trying to burn down the turret, and they'll get it. Temper Favor this time missing, not going to land it. Immediately gets crashed back down on Croco nearby, though. Flick back lands onto missing, and they pick up the kill. Croco goes in, trades support for support, and now with the Cyclone wants to go after YXL. Shun trying to play bodyguard, but the alcove is not helping them. They got to slam back through. A seismic shot from the grave comes out from YXL. Does Shun have enough damage? No. Public execution going to hit, but not onto Croco. Bin flashes after him and eviscerates him down as Sheer joins the party as well. 2v2 cooking here, but Bin has too many dashes for that pesky Syndra W to land the slow. I'd like to see, I'm already going against my anti-Viper fanboy propaganda. What I said is not afraid of anybody. He is arcane shifting at Viper. That is a man playing with no fear. And you do love to see it up against, like you mentioned, one of the kings of the marksman class. Missing might get caught here again. It's another flick back from YXL. It's going to set him up for a kill. The scatter of the week from Bulldog. Too little, too late. Pillar onto Bulldog as well. Shun going to run it down. Scatter doesn't land the stun onto Shun, but it pushes YXL away.
Available is 1XN. Just arcane shifts forward now. YXL, though, he's actually not going to commit to the kill, but I, like you said, love the confidence that this Ezreal is playing with. If he had a few more resources, I feel like that confidence could be backed up by just sheer damage. But we'll have to wait a few more minutes until that big 2-item Ezreal power spike comes through.
Well, Quacks, why would you want to rely on sheer damage? He's playing a tank this game.
You got me.
We'll see those flashes tested very shortly as well, Quacks. Octagon onto the Rift, spawning on that top side. LNG are going to make the first chess move here. It's a bullet time, traded for a Tempered Fate. And that's a ult economy trade you love if you're LNG, not only because they get the tier 1 turret down, but now that bullet time's not available if you rush Octagon here.
For Ambessa to link up with his team.
All right, BLG, no, the Octagon is nearly taken down. About 5k HP. On is trying to lead the charge through here with Viper. They're going to TP in Sheer and finally bring Bin over. 5v5, battle lines drawn. Stun going to land onto On. They're going to try and burn down the Rel, but it's actually Sheer going into the backline. They're going after Viper without the flash. The all-out is going to pull Viper under the LNG turret. Re-engage though for Bin. Poly execution. He's going after 1XN on the backside. Great Weaver's Wall. Pins 1XN between a rock and a hard place. And can Shun win the smite fight? Yes, he can. Octagon secured for BLG. And it's Bulldog that's now going to try and do the heavy lifting, but the dashes are too much to deal with. Gigabin is back and ripping, roaring, and ready to go in another game here. Ace to Billy Gaming. 2.5 minutes, but quietly as well. Hextech Soul is on the board now. While we were watching the replay, BLG got onto that point, and they're looking for a pick on the missing. It's Bin again. He's just so locked into this Demacia Cup so far.
But with a Drake Hound to the face, and the LNG face is getting scarred because of it.
Denying the real only burst champion that LNG have as a threat kind of feels like a home run pick.
I actually do like the Spirit Visage. I think that you obviously...
Yeah, I could be a color caster sometimes. Them starting this up like this, they want to fight. And they're walking LNG in. TP right on time for Bin. LNG need to keep this game alive, or BLG call quits to our series. This fight really could dictate it. Pillar going to force the Trickster out of Croco. YXL and On are both looking for a flank here. They're kind of entrapping LNG. Bulldog taking a ton of poke. Missing is already far too low. The exhaust will not save him. Viper takes him down. Sheer goes all in, but he is all alone. No further follow-up, but Bin says, your backline is mine. Poly execution in. Tries to chase down Bulldog. Flashes right after him. 1XN doesn't have the damage to deal with Gigabin, and now his one exit has been cut off by a giant Weaver's Wall. A clean as an ace as you can get. BLG back at it, knocking down LNG. It looks like they're going to sweep our series.
Line. And let there be no doubt, let there be no question that BLG came here to play for the next season, and they will be a team you must keep your eyes on.
Those slows. LDR done for Viper. Anyone that steps in front of him can get it. Now got Shun as well, super tanky. Bin has a QSS to continue to reset these dashes. It is going to take a mistake from BLG to open this series back up for LNG.
It is, and LNG, You know, they have to find some moment to pull the trigger. They have to find some way to capitalize on this mistake that you're talking about. But BLG, you could see how reserved they're playing, how cautiously they are taking this game. They're not giving LNG an inch to look for any kind of aggressive movements. And all the while, they are slowly closing their grip around this game, around this series.
All missing. Another seismic shove. Able to get a double stun over from his mid laner, so he's safe. But the siege is still coming. Bullet time out from Viper. Not going to find too many marks. Holy excuse me, the bin is going 1 versus 5 in, and he likes those odds. He's somehow surviving and thriving even further, and the rest of BLG come right
There's no way,
with
bro.
their top laner. Big Bad Bin once again calls game, and hopefully this time they give him his goddamn player of the game, because he's player of the series in our minds here.
Yeah, weakest Ambessa, by the way, as BLG just demolish LNG here in game number 2. They leave no doubt to people that they are in control of the series, and they are one of the teams that you need to.
These were some of the best highlights from today's matchup. Which moment was your favorite? Let me know in the comment section below. This is OP, and I'll see you tomorrow. Take care.